to scores from. Man, it'd be nice if we had football cookies. Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How you doing this morning?
Alive and well, thankfully.
Thankfully. Oh, well, it'd be a great day if we had some football cookies.
Absolutely.
Just gonna throw that in there. Chloe made some football cookies for us this morning, and she left them on the counter when we left the house.
So we just get to think about them instead of eat them.
Yeah, but I get to eat them this afternoon when I get home, so that's
There you go.
that's a plus to it. So,
There you go.
oh, but yeah, we've had a fun, eventful week. It's been kind of crazy. Had a ups and downs, a lot of craziness, and I don't know if you want to go into yours, but yeah, it's been a fun weekend. So, and it's only Saturday,
It's only Saturday.
but I will say this: it's perfect football weather outside right now.
Absolutely. Man, it feels so good outside.
Yeah, I know we were outside yesterday for a good bit, and I was doing yard work and all that stuff, and man, I just wanted to sit outside. It felt so nice. And I know a lot of people are like, man, it's 60 degrees. It's too cold. No, brother, it ain't cold enough. I want it to get
Yeah.
colder.
You've been working in the heat, and it's been 85, 90 degrees for the last 3 or 4 months, and man, 60 degrees feels amazing right now.
Yes, sir.
I'm
Yes,
definitely
sir.
looking forward to colder weather, but I can definitely appreciate the 60 degrees. It really had me a little sick this morning, though, not being able to be in the deer stand. So um, that's coming, though. I'm on call this week, so it really wouldn't do me no good, but
Yeah.
uh, I'm excited to see some cooler weather coming in.
Well, amen. Well, we can go ahead and jump in a little bit, start doing some of our stuff from last week. We had some good games that were played last week. Two big powerhouse matchups with Florida State and Miami.
Yep.
And man, that was a good game. Came down to the wire. Really was surprised that the score was what it was because honestly, Miami had the game handled for a long
Absolutely.
time. But it turned out to be 28-22. Miami won. And I will tell you this, Florida State didn't look like Florida State did when they first started with Bama and all that kind of stuff. So there was a lot of ups and downs in that game. And um, just the better team won that day. I can say that. So
Yeah, they made a really good push there at the end of the game, second half, because the score was very lopsided
Yeah.
after the second half. You know, Miami had done went up pretty high on them, and Florida State did do a good job of not quitting and trying to drive back. Of course, they fell short, but maybe something that Florida State will have something to look forward to moving forward. But there's still got to be an ACC championship.
oh yeah,
So maybe there's a possibility of a rematch there. I'm not sure
yeah,
how that's going to play out.
could very well be. Well, then you got the next powerhouse team that played, Oklahoma and Kent State. I mean, 44 to nothing
Really close
blowout.
game.
You got Ohio State was 42-3 against Minnesota. Texas A&M. At first, it kind of looked like that was going to be a game, but Texas A&M walked away. It was 31-9 over Mississippi State. Then you got one of the biggest shockers of the week last week. Penn State falls to UCLA.
0-4 UCLA.
Oh,
One coaching change, and
Yeah.
it just changed the whole.
ignited everything.
Yeah, and so, which we've said from the start,
Yeah.
we didn't think Penn State was
That,
as high up as. I mean, they were higher than what we thought.
they were ranked all the way up at number 2, and now they ain't even ranked, I don't believe.
Yeah.
So when they lost to UCLA, they were 7th. But I don't think they're ranked right now, which, to be honest with you, I don't think they deserve to be ranked right now. But,
Right.
that's how it goes.
Speaking of being ranked number 2 and then not being ranked today, I think that we have a team out there that is the fastest team to go from preseason number 1 to unranked. And last week helped that come to a
Yeah.
conclusion with Texas falling to the
Florida
Florida
Gators. Could
Man.
not believe it.
I'll be honest with you, it seems like it should be a shocker, but I really wasn't that shocked.
Yeah.
I didn't think Texas was
I
really
didn't.
that good.
That powerhouse team. And
Florida had a lot to prove.
Exactly.
Billy
And
Napier had a lot on the line.
yeah, his seat would have got really hot if they would have lost.
As a Georgia fan, I'm really glad they won that game. We need Billy Napier to stay there as long as possible.
As an LSU fan, I am too.
So, but no, it is congrats to Florida on that win.
Yeah. Had a lot of Florida fans that were excited about that. A lot of Florida fans that were excited about it. Sadly, it's not going to help you much longer down the stretch because you ain't getting in the championships. But I will say I was proud that Florida did handle Texas the way they did. Then you go down to the other powerhouse game that everybody was really looking forward to was the Bama Vanderbilt game.
Yep.
And Bama, I'll say this, they didn't look like the Vanderbilt team. Like they didn't look like themselves. They played as best as they could, but I think there was some other stuff going on. But at the same time, I honestly can say if Vanderbilt played Bama again, I don't know if Bama would win. I think Vandy might handle it.
I think that I feel like Vanderbilt was trying to push the ball, instead of
Run their
kind of
game.
owning the game clock
Yeah,
and things like that, and it ended up costing them. But of course, you got, they done good on defense. They forced Ty Simpson's first interception of the year.
Yep.
Played a great first half. I mean, it was tied 14-14 at the half.
yeah.
But the second half belonged only to Alabama.
Yeah.
So
They came out there and scored.
yep.
But no, and that's what I was about to say. That's why I was saying I honest to God think that if Vanderbilt played again, I think it'll be a different circumstances now or a different story at the end because honestly, I think Vanderbilt kind of got in their heads and they were thinking this is the big moment. We need to make these highlight plays and these highlight reels and everything else. And it's like because they kept throwing deep ball passes and it wasn't connecting. And it wasn't because the receiver wasn't there. It just you got a team like Bama that they got a good defense. You can't just keep throwing those highlight plays. You got to throw screens here. You got to throw slants. You got to do cross. You got a lot of stuff that you can do, but they weren't handling it the right way. So
I feel like playing a team like Alabama that does a good job of adjusting. You can't just go out there with the mindset we're going to get a lot of explosive plays.
Oh yeah.
You got to set up those explosive plays by doing some of the smaller plays,
Yep.
doing some of the screens, doing some of the progression plays, and then once they sell out to stopping a run or stopping a screen, then you possibly open up a seam route or open up a post route and give yourself an opportunity for that explosive play. But if you just go out there with a team that knows how to adjust, you may be able to land one or two big plays, but they're going to adjust and they're going to learn to defend it.
Yeah.
And that's where you have to continuously coach all 4 quarters. And I just kind of feel like Vanderbilt, once they lost their footing after the first half, they just never could get it back.
It was a snowball effect then. And I will say this, there was something else I noticed about that game. At the end, they were kind of walking out. Man, fans, y'all need to calm down a little bit. Taking that kind of aggression out on a young quarterback like that. And it wasn't Vanderbilt. It was Bama fans that were picking at the Vanderbilt quarterback. And it was kind of like, man, some of that stuff, I get it, rivalry. I get cutting up. I get playing around, all that stuff. But man, these guys are still kids. You know, they're still young, so try not to take too much out on them. But anyway, moving on. Then you had Texas Tech playing Houston. They won 35-11. Then you had Georgia playing Kentucky 35-14. Everybody kind of knew Georgia was going to handle that because Kentucky, they're known for their basketball now, not football anymore. So,
but they also they done the same thing Vanderbilt did. They forced Gunnar Stockton's first interception of the year.
yeah. But Iowa State and Cincinnati. Cincinnati ended up winning that game 38-30.
Good upset
in there. Michigan beat Wisconsin 24-10. Notre Dame beat Boise State. Illinois and Purdue. Illinois won. Virginia won against Louisville. Barely, but they won. So that's pretty much last week. LSU was off last week. We had a couple other teams that were off this last week as a bye, but honestly, I know for us we needed it. But this week, I'm kind of looking forward to some of the big games that we got. And I know a lot of people are overlooking this first one that I'm going to mention because well, I'll just say it. Ohio State versus Illinois. A lot of people's overlooking it because they're like, well, it's Ohio State. They're going to automatically be dominant. I'm going to say something very wild. Texas at the beginning of the year gave Ohio State a lot. Mm-hmm. And you just seen Texas fall to Florida Gators last week. If that Ohio State shows up again and plays this Illinois team, Illinois is going to roll them.
I believe it.
And honestly, even on my picks this week, I picked Ohio State, but I'm really debating, what is this, a 12 o'clock game? I might go back and change it to Illinois just because I really feel like this is a trap game for Ohio State.
You know, those Illinois fans are they know that they have that possibility. I was watching Fox News this morning, and they done some coverage up there because the game's at Illinois. And so, you know, they definitely believe that they got a chance. And like you said, if you get the same team that played that opening game, which, you know, as a player or as a coach, you hope that by this time of the season you're not going to be that same team.
No, you got to progress.
But, I mean, I don't know that we've seen any team in college football yet that has been just consistently dominant.
Yeah.
Like at any given week, a tight game could go either way, a close game, or, you know, and even, you know, that's your some of your big historical teams like your Alabamas, you know, a lot of your SEC teams. There's not just one dominant team. I mean, I know a lot of people's hyped up on Alabama, yet they've got some great wins over the last few weeks. But they've got a handful today with Missouri.
Yes, they do.
And then they got to go in next week and play Tennessee. So, you know, there's no confidence that there's 100%, you know, they got it. Like, you know, I believe like a few years ago, I know you're an LSU fan, so you remember this, but there was a lot of dominance with the 2019 LSU team.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was pretty confident that you could go with them because there was a dominance there. Same thing with Alabama in 2020 and even Georgia in 2021. You know, it was just like that. You know, every game they went into, they were playing. It didn't matter if they were playing Louisiana Monroe or if they were playing Alabama or one of your top tier teams. They were giving it the same amount of effort. But this year, you know, I don't feel like we're seeing that every week. And so, you know, again, I don't think you can just look at the fact that Ohio State's ranked number 1 and a 15.5-point favorite, that they just go in there and they just wipe the floor clean with Illinois. Now, could it happen? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But like I said, has it consistently been
a
dominant performance where you can believe that that's going to happen? Yeah. Not at all. So
and then also I've noticed a lot of stuff with Ohio State. They're here lately. They've been a fourth quarter team. They show up in the first half a little bit, but then in fourth quarters when they we got to throw as many we got to score as much as possible. And like that game, I can't remember what it was. They were playing one of these. I hate to say it this way, but a cupcake team. And it was a tight game. Even at halftime, it was like 10-10. Mm-hmm. And then finally they broke free in the fourth quarter, and they went up like, I think it was 24-10 at the end of it all, or 26-10, something like that. But that's when you start noticing Clemson has the same problem.
Yes.
If you come out and you score at least 21 points in the first half and you keep Ohio State down to 10, you possibly could win that game. Mm-hmm. Pretty easily. But Anyway, moving on. There's just a lot of if, ands, or buts on that. So then we go to Alabama, Missouri. I think that's going to be a decent game. Um, I know Missouri's played a few teams this year, but be honest with you, I just see Bama handling it. To be honest
I
with
think
you,
they will. Vegas has got them at 3.5.
yeah,
Which means that they believe it's going to be close.
it's going to be a close one.
But I do think that Alabama will win the game. Now whether they would do it handily, I don't know, but I do think that Alabama's going to have the edge on them and pull it off. So
I'm kind of thinking it's going to be at least 10 points.
yeah,
At least.
very well could be. Very well could be.
Moving on, you got the next one on the schedule is Florida State, Pittsburgh, and that should be an easy game for Florida State. But at the same time, Pittsburgh has been known to slip up and beat people.
That's
So
right.
then you go to Ole Miss and Washington State. Ole Miss should win this pretty easily. I think they got them favored 33.5 points. Yeah, I think they should handle this one pretty easy. Do you think they'll cover the spread?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
I'm going to go under.
You gonna go under?
I'm going to go under.
I'm gonna go over.
Okay. Then you got Oregon versus Indiana, which I think is actually going to be a pretty decent game too. They're both undefeated. Oregon's 3, Indiana's 7. Oregon has showed up and showed out against Pitt, and that was a good game. I think Oregon showed who they were. Indiana has showed up against Illinois and all them, so I think they're showing who they are. So I'm pretty excited about that game. I think it's going to go. I think it's going to go Oregon. I really think Oregon's going to handle it.
The thing about being an Oregon fan right here is you go in, you beat Penn State in a whiteout game.
Oh yeah.
You've proven who you are. We just beat the number 2 team in the nation, and then the following week they lose to UCLA.
Yeah.
And if you do what the coaches teach you to do, and you play it 1 week at a time, and you play your best football, which is what all coaches want your team to do. It won't matter what happened the next week with Penn State. But at the same time, as a fan, you can't help but look and say, well, was Penn State bad and we just wasn't as good as we thought?
Yeah.
Or did we just break Penn State spirits and then they went in there and just kind of
flat-footed
and lost to UCLA? There's a lot of what is. The thing about it is I do think Oregon's a good team. I do think that they have what it takes to beat Indiana, but you can't go in there flat-footed.
No.
You can't go in there assuming you're going to have the win. But it is in Oregon, and so I do think Oregon takes the win, but I don't think it's going to be as easy as they want it to be.
And let me also put this in there because I don't want anybody thinking we're biased. Oregon is better than Ohio State or something like that because we picked on Ohio State in their very first game of the season and all that good stuff and how they struggle a little bit with other teams. I'm not on the bandwagon that Oregon is going to be a top-tier team. I think they're going to be ranked high. I think they're going to be in the playoffs. But I don't see them getting past too many great teams because this year, I will be honest with you, my SEC bias is about to show. I think there's a lot of SEC teams that should be in the playoffs this year because I do see Bama, I do see Georgia, I do see LSU, I do see Tennessee, and right now I see Oklahoma, but Oklahoma could change, especially after today with their playing Texas. That could change a little bit, but I do see a lot of top tier teams in that. Ole Miss, you got A&M. I mean, you got a bunch of these SEC teams that are just phenomenal. And I think if they played Oregon or if they played Ohio State, I honestly would say 50-50. I think a lot of them would beat both of those teams.
I looked at a stat this morning where they compared, because ever since the Penn State lost to UCLA, they've referenced the fact that how deep the Big Ten is, that you could go in anywhere and get beat during the week. And it was a shot at the SEC.
Yeah.
Because they made a joke, say, am I doing this right? Basically like it's an excuse to lose to another team in your conference. But so they done a parallel to the top tier teams in the Big Ten, to the top tier teams in the SEC. And believe it or not, but they split the first 8 games. Like who would be favored? It was 4-4. Big Ten got 4, SEC got 4.
Wow.
But then the lower 8, SEC took all of them.
Yeah.
The lower tier teams of the SEC would have been favored dramatically over the lower tier teams of the Big Ten. And so the reason I say that, though, is to say that the playoff system is actually set up, and it helps other conferences. Not to say that other conferences. I mean, for instance, you got Miami and ACC. I believe they could keep this year. They've got a team that can keep
Oh,
up
yeah.
with any conference.
Fully believe that.
You know, and you're going to have those teams throughout different conferences. But the consistency in history is that SEC teams beat out each other.
Yep.
So the teams you see like right now, a lot of the teams you just named are in the top 12.
Yeah.
If we took a playoff vote today, you know, all those teams you just named would be in
In the playoffs.
the
yeah.
playoffs. The thing about it is a lot of those teams still have to play each other.
Yeah. They beat
And-
each other up. Yeah.
And the later in the season you get, you can't afford a loss.
Mm-mm.
You know, and so you take Alabama, for instance. Alabama has lost their first game, fell way out, deep down in the rankings, but they've worked their way back up to number 8.
Yeah.
But they lose one more game, and
They're
I
out.
feel like they're going to drop because they still got to play, you know,
They got us still.
Tennessee. They got y'all. I can't remember if they play Ole Miss this year or not.
I don't think they do.
I don't know that they do. But so
They
Ole Miss.
they play Oklahoma or Texas.
Yes,
one
they
of the
play
two.
Oklahoma. They played
Yeah.
Oklahoma last year, and they'll play them again this year.
Yeah, that'll be a good game.
That's one of the games they lost last year was Oklahoma. So
That's right.
like I said, there's other opportunities, and you know it shows that, or it helps other teams, you know, in the back of their minds to know that some of these teams still have to play each other.
Yeah.
Just like, for
definitely.
instance, not to get off the SEC bias a little bit, you got Oregon and Indiana.
Yeah.
So if you're any other team, you got at least, you know, one of these teams is going to have to lose.
Yep.
And one of these teams is going to have to move their ranking. And so if you're in any other team or any other conference, you're looking at that support. So it's not just an SEC bias.
No.
It's the truth of the matter is when two teams in the top 12 play each other, one of them's got to move rankings. And if it's not me, if I'm not in that game, then obviously I'm gonna get some kickback off of it.
Well, and I think a lot of it too is especially like just taking the SEC for example. You got so many ranked teams playing against each other. Your strength of schedule should prove so much more than an Ohio State that only has 2 ranked teams on their entire schedule. So they should be ranked higher to me than an Ohio State or whoever that is not playing so many ranked teams. But you also don't see that.
Yeah.
Like you do kind of see a bias towards certain teams a little bit more. And I think they're trying to make it a little bit more fair, but at the same time, I don't see it always happening.
Right.
Because even at the beginning of the season, and we say it all the time, every single year we say it, stop putting polls up. Stop putting rankings up. There's no sense in it. Nobody knows who's going to be good and all that good stuff. Because you can look at Florida, not Florida. Oh my gosh. Well, you could look at Florida, but I'm going to get into that one. Look at Texas. They had Texas ranked at number 1, all that good stuff, or up there in the top. I think they were number 1.
They were preseason 1.
Yeah. So, and then now we're in week 6 or 7, and they're not ranked anymore because they got 2 pretty bad losses on their record right now. So, I mean, the whole pre-ranking is ridiculous to me. But even in the midst of all this, I think the ranking system, it's a good thing to have. But at the same time, you got to be cautious with it because you can't just pay attention to it and say, oh, the number 2 team is going to beat the number 11 team because the number 11 team might be undefeated too. And they might have the number 2's number like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So the whole ranking system's kind of goofy to me at times, but at the same time, I still understand it. I'm glad we have it, but
the obvious thing, and the elephant in the room is the fact that none of these rankings matter until the CFB playoff comes
that's
out,
exactly right.
because it could change. I mean, I think for the most part, a lot of these teams are going to be somewhere near where they're already ranked,
Yeah.
especially when your top 4 or 5 probably going to stay around where they're at. But it could change, and the crazy part about it is, like you was talking about strength of schedule earlier, one thing that's always kind of seemed more biased against the SEC in the past is, take, for instance, the last few years, Georgia has opened the season with Clemson or Oregon or a tough game, and they are looked at, their rankings are determined by that win,
Yeah.
saying, hey, they beat a good team, which is great. That's the way it should be. But then turn right around and you open the season with Marshall. And
Yeah.
you win the game, no problem. But all the other teams around you that won get to jump you because your win wasn't good,
As big. Yeah.
as big, which is, again, I'm okay with that.
Understandable.
But it should work the same way at the end of the season.
Yes.
So if you've got a team that's got 3 losses on their schedule, but their 3 losses come to teams that are in the top 10, How can you put a team that hasn't even played a top 25 matchup
In the
above them
yeah,
because they have an undefeated record when that team itself has not lost to a team outside the 25
exactly.
rankings? There's to me, there's no difference there. You're comparing. You're not comparing apples to apples. You're taking a team that's got a unblemished record, but yet they've not played any
Anybody,
competition,
yeah,
and then you're putting them over a team that has been willing to go out and play a tough schedule, and they lost a couple of games, but both of their losses are to top-ranked teams.
yep,
And so again, I just feel like there's got to be some kind of a balance to strength of schedule has to be included in there. And again, you go back a couple of years ago, and we talked about this when we first started the podcast. You go back to a couple of years ago when Florida State had an unblemished record all year,
yeah.
and they made a decision to put Alabama in,
Over
who had a
Florida
loss
State.
over Florida State because of an injury. And their understanding to doing that was because of the strength of schedule,
Yeah,
and they didn't think that Florida State had what it takes to keep going without their quarterback. And so I just feel like there's not been consistency with that.
yeah,
I feel like if it's a team with a name that everybody they know they're going to get viewership, it seems like they're willing to put strength of schedule into the conversation.
well, that's such a hard topic on that one because with FSU, it was their quarterback that went down, which was their main playmaker. So it's understandable why the committee did what they did, but at the same time, you kind of took that away from the team because the team earned that spot. And then you put Bama over them. I mean, it gives the team a black eye. And it just, I honestly think that's why Florida State also beat Bama at the beginning of the season because that was their first time getting to face them since.
Yeah.
But I understand the committee side of it, but I also understand the team side of it. And it's really, I think personally, Florida State should have went into the playoffs.
Right. That was my thing was, if Florida State doesn't get in, then how do you vouch for Alabama to get in over Georgia? Because they did beat Georgia in the SEC championship, but you've got back-to-back defending national champions who hasn't lost a regular season game in over 2 years.
Oh yeah,
They lost one game in the national championship by 3 points. I mean, in the SEC championship by 3 points. And that team dropped from 4 to 6.
yeah,
And Alabama goes from 6 to 4. And Florida State comes all the way back to 5
Yeah.
and misses the playoffs. And again, I feel like it was more of a viewership.
it was.
It really wasn't strength of schedule, even though that was what they used. Because if it had been strength of schedule, how do you determine that Alabama gets in over Georgia? Well, they got the head-to-head. Yeah, but look at Alabama's loss
Yeah,
in their regular season. Now you kind of have balanced playing ground. So, again, it was one of those things. I feel like the only thing you can do is say, look, whether we believe Florida State can do it or not, we got to keep them in there because we can't split Georgia and Alabama up. Them
Yeah.
two, they both have a loss, and there's no way we pick one over the other. Let Florida State stay in.
Yeah.
But that was just my personal opinion on it.
Fully agree. Let's move back in real quick. You got Oklahoma and Texas today. Texas coming off that bad loss.
And they have Texas favored in that game.
Yeah, I know. By what? A point and a half?
Point and a half.
Yeah.
But I do not believe Texas takes that game.
I kind of don't either. There's a sneaky suspicion that's saying that Texas could win it, but Oklahoma's just been playing too good lately to me. I think Oklahoma handles it. Is it at Texas?
It's at Texas, yep.
I might have to. I don't know. I'm still leaning towards Oklahoma though.
That's a rivalry.
Yeah, that's a
and
bad
so-
rivalry.
I don't know that
The old Red River.
Texas wins it though. Texas has something going on that they can't figure out. Even Sarkisian in the interview, when he was asked about Manning, he's like, "Y'all, this ain't the same Manning we're seeing at practice." Even he's is aware that Manning's not playing up to
Yeah.
his hype, but he's saying that it's not the same Manning we're seeing in practice. And
Yeah.
so there's something that they have not figured out. And
He might not be able to handle the big moments, like the big game. It might be something goofy like that. And I will say he hasn't been impressive at all to me this year. He's thrown a lot of picks, and he's done a lot of goofy stuff. But moving on, you got Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech. Georgia Tech should handle this game pretty well, but I'm going to go ahead and warn you, this is a trap game.
Yep.
Virginia Tech is a very good team, whether the schedule shows it or not. They're actually a pretty decent team, and they can come in and beat you. and Georgia Tech better be on their game today. You got Notre Dame and North Carolina State. I think Notre Dame handles this one. They're favored 23.5 points, if I remember correctly. You got Iowa State and Colorado. Iowa State is favored 2.5 points over Colorado.
Hmm.
I don't agree with that. I think Iowa State's going to have a bigger lead than that. Then we're going to get into Pastor's favorite game, Arkansas Tennessee.
Yeah,
And he's ready to see this one. Oh, Bobby Petrino is going to be coaching, all that good stuff. So,
give me them volunteers.
I was about to say I'm on the Tennessee bandwagon for this one. They're favored by 9.5 points too. Next game, you got Texas A&M and Florida. This is going to be a good question for me because Florida has a great defense, and Texas A&M has faced a good couple of teams, but they haven't faced somebody like Florida's defense.
That's right.
So I'm curious to see how A&M handles the day. And it could go either way. They got A&M favored by 6.5 points, just underneath the touchdown. So I'm curious to see how this game is going to go. You got Texas Tech and Kansas. Tech's probably going to win that one by a good margin. You got the next game is Georgia Auburn, and I'm curious of what Pastor's feelings are on this one.
Well, obviously, I want Georgia to win it, but anybody that's ever played football that you've talked to in the past will tell you that Jordan Hare is a hard place to play.
Yes, sir.
And it's a night game, so that's going to be good. But I think if Georgia goes there and plays their game, they can win it. But Auburn, they probably should have beat Oklahoma.
Yeah, they should have,
because there were some very controversial calls in that game.
Yeah, and no not calls in that game. Yeah,
and so you take that off of Auburn's record, they should be ranked.
Yeah,
I believe they should be ranked. I believe that they're a lot better than their ranking looks or their record looks. I know that Hugh Freeze.
What didn't they lose to A&M too?
I believe so.
Yeah,
but like I said, that's
but A&M's undefeated, ranked high too.
Top 10 teams that they've lost to, and they're unranked because of it.
Yeah,
and so now they'll be playing Georgia, who is ranked 10. So this will be their third top 10 matchup.
Yeah,
and I do think though that Auburn has the ability to win tonight.
Yeah.
Do I believe that if Georgia goes in there and they've been able to run the ball very well this year.
Yeah.
Chauncey Bowens has been a beast. It's finally looking like running back you again.
Yep.
We've got a very deep running back room. Nate Frazier has had a little bit of trouble holding on to the football this year, but this past game he didn't start, so I think that was an eye opener for him.
Yeah.
Because he was a starting running back going into the season. All your Georgia pictures had him on it.
Yep.
And then he gets snatched out of. Yeah. Now he still played, but he didn't start. But Chauncey Bowens reminds me of a mixture almost between Nick Chubb and Sony Michel.
Yeah, I can see
He's got that explosiveness of Nick Chubb. He's got the cutting ability of Michel, and so I really like to watch him play. I think if they can go in there, manage the clock, they can beat Auburn.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think it's a shoe-in. You better go in there ready because Auburn's going to be
they're
ready.
Going to be on fire in all centers because they want to win.
Yep.
Because they right now they know if they beat Georgia, they get to kind of get back in the rankings, but they also know that there's a possibility of them getting in the playoffs. So
that's it.
That's why they're fighting. Next game you got Michigan USC. This is actually they're both 4-1 right now. USC's actually favored by 2.5 points right now, and Michigan's number 15. USC is not ranked at all. So that's going to be a good game. Then you got my game, LSU, South Carolina. Last year there was a lot of controversy in the game that we played with South Carolina, and we ended up winning it. And now this year there's talk that there's going to be controversy already. But I think LSU is going to handle this one pretty decently.
Yeah. I don't think South Carolina is hitting as hard as they was last year.
No.
And so I think LSU, especially playing at Death Valley at night, it's going to be too much for South Carolina. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. But I'm excited to see the game, but I really want to see how LSU comes after a bye week, how they come out. I'm sure they've had a lot of preparation for it. So really,
I'm ready to see our offense actually do something that they need to be doing and start scoring something over 24 points. They need to be scoring and scoring and scoring. And I think Brian Kelly needs to just go ahead and pull the reins off and just say go get as many points as possible. Don't stop until the game stops. But at the same time, I also know Brian Kelly, and Brian Kelly ain't that guy. So I wish he would be. But anyway, then you got BYU, Arizona. BYU's 5-0, Arizona's 4-1, and they got BYU only by 2.5 points on this game. So that's going to be kind of unique. Arizona State and Utah, they're both 4-1. Utah is favored by 9.5. And Arizona State's the one that's ranked. So there's a lot of upset looks this week. So curious to see how all that kind of goes. Kind of moving on, I did have our Chloe pick of the week. I'm not going to do the LSU South Carolina game because I already know who she's going to pick. But I was going to say the Texas A&M Florida game. Who do you think is going to win that one? She said she will never pick Florida, so it's Texas A&M all day long for her.
Here's one for you because it might be split for you. Who would you pick out of Georgia, Auburn?
From what I've heard, Auburn ain't doing too hot this year. Georgia, I don't know. I think I would pick Georgia.
So she's picking Georgia on that
So
one.
we got Koala Bear done picked 2
Yeah.
today. So she's got Texas A&M, and she's
And-
picking Georgia over Auburn.
And she, we didn't get to her last week when we were going to ask the pick of the week, and I think she picked Miami to beat Florida State, and who was the other game? Bama,
Alabama,
Vanderbilt. Yeah,
She picked Bama.
and she did pick Bama.
Yeah.
So,
So she
right
was,
now,
2-0 last
yeah,
week.
she had it last week.
I don't know that she's lost a pick yet.
I don't think she.
I lost the second. No, we didn't.
Which one was it? Do you remember? So she's
she's
lost
lost
one.
one.
She's
Okay.
lost one. Yeah, out of the 4, 5. Sure, something like that. So our question of the week, she's got me a couple questions this week. She never picked one, so I got to pick one real quick. What game from any year made you believe in miracles, or question your sanity?
I would say the kick 6.
Oh my gosh,
I'm not even an Auburn fan.
I know.
But I can only I remember to this day I was driving through Warner Robins in a Jeep Cherokee when I was listening to that game on the radio,
Yeah.
and I could not believe. I was like, "There's something wrong with this radio. There's no way this just really happened," and it blew my mind that they argued for the 1 second
Yeah.
to be on the clock, and sometimes you
should keep your mouth shut.
Sometimes you get more than what you ask for, and that 1 second, it was the craziest 1 second of a football game
Yeah.
I've ever heard in my life.
That man took it back.
And the crazy
entire
thing
way.
about it,
Auburn, or
that's the
Gus,
same year. Auburn had angels
Oh,
in,
yeah.
in
in
the
the
end
outfield.
zone,
Yeah,
and because that was, I believe, the same year that Georgia was up.
Oh, and that crazy pick.
It was 4th and like 24. I remember I was at a JJ Weeks concert then, and I remember looking at my phone. You know, I was probably looking at my Bible app and just happened to accidentally click on the football game.
Oh, yeah.
But,
yeah.
I remember looking at my phone. It was 4th quarter, 4th and 20-something yards. Auburn had the ball. I was like, oh yeah, good, we win. So I turned my phone off, and then wait till the end of the concert, look at it, and see Georgia has lost, and could not figure out what the heck happened.
Yeah.
And I go back and look at the highlights, and that's where they throw Auburn throws the ball. Georgia's defenders go up together, and one of them could have intercepted, but both of them went up and hit each other, hit the ball, and it tips it right into the receiver's
Right
hands.
in the guy's hands.
And he runs it. I think that was the same year as the kick 6,
It
if I'm
is.
not mistaken.
It is. It is.
So I would say that would probably be the season of miracles.
Yeah.
The year.
Definitely, especially for Auburn.
Yes.
And what's even funnier about all that is the kick 6. Gus Malzahn drew it up. He knew what was about to happen. He said, if this kick misses, you're going to catch in the end zone. You're going to go all the way to the left because all their big defenders are on that one side. They won't be able to catch you. So he drew it up, and there is a picture of it. My wife has it. There is a picture of it that shows his drawing of that guy just running that route and all these X's being stuck. and it was legit. That's what
Gus
happened.
Malzahn, the prophetic coach.
He knew, and and I will tell you, speaking of Gus, he's been doing pretty good at FSU. I'm surprised.
I've always thought he was a good play caller.
I'm surprised that he stepped back to that role, but I understand it. I understand it now, and I think he's doing a great job. You got a few of them other coaches out there that they want to get back in and they want to do this and that, and
Well, I really wouldn't mind Arkansas getting rid of Sam Pittman if Georgia would bring him back and get us back to an offensive line like we used to have.
yeah, definitely understand
He
that.
he had the biggest offensive line in college football
Yeah.
at one time. And
it was hard to get through that line too.
yes.
Well, I wish LSU would take Ed O and put him back in as an assistant coach or something, because that joker right there just he can motivate you to run through a brick wall, bro.
Yes.
I don't care what
I don't
anybody
even
says.
play, and he gets me motivated when he talks.
I know.
He's just talking about going to an island and eating hamburgers.
Yeah,
It got me excited.
Man, let's go. Yeah. But anyway, well, man, we appreciate y'all so much for watching, ma'am. I was just saying my what? It's the same thing. It's the exact same one. My miracle of the year is the exact same one, the pick six or the kick six. And I will say there's been a bunch of them. The bluegrass miracle, of course, for LSU, but even the stuff that you've seen with Alabama, the stuff that you've seen with Georgia, the stuff that you've seen with Kentucky, Vanderbilt last year against Bama, winning like they did, man, that was unbelievable. Tennessee, when they first finally beat Bama in like the 20-year span that they had a drought, man, it was just, there's so many things, but I'm telling you, that kick six was something different.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody
And
says.
Bama and Auburn's always had some crazy
Good
plays.
rivalry games,
even all the way back to the fourth and whatever
yeah.
when Jalen Miller threw the touchdown. Was it last year?
No. Yeah, it might have been. It might have been last year.
Because they expected. I mean, Auburn had it won. All they had to do was
it was over with.
stop that play, and it was that game over.
And he threw it in the end zone.
It's like, what in the world?
That was
But-
last year, yeah.
But
Man.
yeah, so there's always been some crazy plays when it comes to Alabama and Auburn. But I would have to say that the miracle would be the kick six.
Oh, wait, I got one more. I do have one more. The LSU Florida game, that was a couple years ago, when the fog came down inside of Gator Stadium, the swamp, and then
the
all of a
shoes went
sudden the
flying.
shoe got thrown. And because the Gators were on the march, they were about to win the game because they were holding us up in the fourth quarter. We were winning by maybe like a point or something like that. No, we weren't winning by a point. I think we were losing by 2 points. And man, that kid, he held us up. Next thing you know, he grabs a shoe and throws it down the field.
Prettiest yellow flag you ever
Bro,
seen.
that was a beautiful flag, just thrown perfectly, elegantly too. And next thing you know, we finally take it down a little bit further and then kick the field goal in the middle of the fog, and you can't see nothing. Nobody on the field could see if they got it or not. The coach is sitting over there doing this,
Yep.
and all of a sudden, it's good.
Yep.
And we end up winning the game. That was a miracle in the swamp
That's
for
right.
the Tigers. So, but no, regardless of all that, kind of segueing off of that, if you want to see a miracle, go to church tomorrow. Amen.
That's right,
Yeah.
that's right. And if you could think of something that we hadn't thought of, feel free to comment. Let us know
Yes,
what your
sir.
biggest miracle is, or what game, or what season you thought was a miracle season. So we'd love to hear back from
Oh
you.
yeah, definitely,
And
definitely.
we appreciate all of our support last week. We had a little different podcast.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it
I
was
did
pretty
too.
cool. We got to hang out here at the church with the car show,
Yep.
and got to bring in some guest pickers from all around the area. And it was a lot of them, I think, split the Florida State Miami game.
Yeah.
But a lot of people went with Bama over Vanderbilt. I think we
Oh,
had a
yeah.
couple of Vanderbilt picks, but most everybody went with Bama. So had a good time doing that.
Had a few people get in the Duncan booth. Had some, nice cars. Got to sit in the Derby car. Almost cut my leg open doing it. We got a lot of unique stuff that got to happen last week, and it was pretty neat, pretty awesome.
Yep.
So definitely getting that weather for it too,
Oh, yeah.
especially bonfire weather and all that good
Chilly
stuff.
weather.
Oh my gosh!
Speaking of chili, we got a chili cook-off coming up here.
Yes, sir.
First week of November, so
And it's going to be unlike any that we've had
yeah,
before
it's
too.
gonna be good.
My daughter Chloe usually places with the white chicken chili, but this year she's going to have her hands full because I think a lot of other people are saying they're about to start doing some chilies this year. So I don't know if they're doing chicken chili, but I just know they said there's a lot of people showing interest this year. So, But anyway, regardless of all that, we appreciate you guys tuning in with us, checking in with us, and listening to our nonsense selves. So we appreciate every bit of it, and we're going to try to start doing a little things here and there throughout the week too, just to kind of give you guys a little bit more of us, because who doesn't want more of this? You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right. I mean,
Yeah, anyway. But no, we appreciate you guys so much. We're in the Call of the Bleachers right now, and we just greatly appreciate all the support. So like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week.
enjoyed it.